cooperation between Belgium, as mentioned, and Bahrain will not focus on fintech, on finance. There is a large number of potentiality between our two countries. Now, it's my great pleasure and honor to give the floor to His Excellency, Mr. Abdullah Dosari, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain to Belgium, Luxembourg, and the EU. Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. Please.
First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Qaisar Hijazin, the President of ABLCC, the Arab Chamber of Belgium and Luxembourg, for your organizing this webinar today and meet with our colleagues. Before we start, I just want to acknowledge and recognize your great efforts on promoting the relationship between the Chamber of Commerce of the region, the Benelux countries, and the region in Bahrain in particular at this time. So thank you very much for your great efforts, for your cooperation. I would like also to thank HUB for organizing this mission to Bahrain and for their great coordination, closely coordination. They are doing a wonderful assessment and arrangement that is making this mission is possible and is coming very soon. I would like also to take the opportunity to thank all colleagues from our embassy, Belgium embassy in Kuwait, His Excellency the Ambassador and his team for their support to this mission, and also they're incorporated into this mission as well. And also the thanks acknowledgement goes to everybody here in Brussels, different business centers and hubs, those who are contributing and assisting us in making this mission in October is very successful. And by thanking everybody here around, and I'm very happy that a couple of embassies in Belgium here in Brussels also joining us from Qatar. Very welcome, His Excellency the Ambassador, and some colleagues from the Embassy of Kuwait, and also it looks like from Egypt, and also from Jordan. So thank you very much all for joining us today here, and the business community from Belgium and Luxembourg. Thank you very much for joining us today in this webinar. And I hope with this very short presentation, we will recap to show why this mission, or showing why this mission is important. And it is a great opportunity. And this will be benefiting for all of us, whether it is the Belgium and the region beyond here, or the Bahrain and the Gulf. So allow me to share a presentation. I am still disabled to share the presentation. If you could open this for me, please. I want to share the presentation. Sonia, can you allow me to share? Host disabled participant screen sharing. You are still, if you could open it for me again. I can't hear you. Yes. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so I will start by the questioning, and this presentation I'm doing in behalf of Fintech of Bahrain. I hope they should have been invited, but nevertheless, the question is why is Bahrain? And the question does take me to show me the second slide here, just to show that Bahrain is a small island in the region, in the Gulf. It is 1.5 million people. 52% of the population is expats. The normal GDP of Bahrain is 44.4 billion, is very high. And the financial institution currently in Bahrain is almost more than 365 institutions residing in Bahrain here. Moving to the second slide, it's showing why is Bahrain here. We are saying Bahrain is zero corporate tax. We are zero taxation. So any business investments come to Bahrain, there will be any hidden taxation on any foreign investment, but also 100% foreign ownership investment. So people could come in Bahrain and also could open their own company in their own name. And of course, access to skilled labor, local laborers in Bahrain. They are very high skilled laborers, which is very high educated talent. You don't need to import any labor from outside, especially the skilled labor in terms of technology, high tech and everything. And access to government agencies is very friendly and it's very high tech. So the digitalization in Bahrain is at top range. So everything could be accessed from anywhere. So you don't need to go to any agencies and submit any paper documentation or an interview. You could do everything online. And still that going in person is available as well. We are ranked globally #1 for destination for expatriate community. We are maintaining this rank for a long time. For many years before, we are ranked globally. That is, Bahrain is very welcome and enjoyment of expatriate community, not only to live, but live and work and raise children and family. And as you know, Team of Bahrain, as we are calling the Team of Bahrain, the whole countries, the whole government is integrated into one team and one-stop shop. So the whole, everybody is working into supporting any integration of any business. So you will see integration from different agencies and companies online. So everybody is knowing what else is doing. So you enter to Ministry of Commerce, the people in the industry, they know, the people on the tourism, they know. This is all interconnected system. So that's very clear. So you don't need to go and explain again to this and move to another destination. Recently, we have established the golden residency for investment. So anybody want to come to Bahrain for any investment, we could give him the golden residency. Let's call it the permanent visa and residency. So people could enjoy living in Bahrain as much as their business is required. Of course, we have shown many of these fintech companies in Bahrain. You see these big names here around. There are a lot. I cannot put them in any screens here, as you know. Currently, when I spoke, we started talking with fintech Belgium a few months ago. The number of the companies in Bahrain was 103 companies in Bahrain. Is the largest number in the Middle East. Today, I checked before I come to this presentation, they reached 120 companies now. So 120 companies, the size of the investment, it was $1.3 billion, the size of the only fintech investment companies. The expectation from the fintech report, the last one, that this number will be doubled within the coming 1 year from now. So the growing raise and intention and interest on fintech investment in Bahrain is very high. So you can see many of these companies here, you can see them, they are in Bahrain. This is another company, some of them from Belgium, some of them from around the group. So these numbers every month is growing and increasing. You can see a lot of this is increasing as well. So you can see it's not only the finance services landscape, but also the insurance architecture of the business. They're all around in Bahrain here, and you might have known some of these names around you. So moving to the next slide is about fintech forward. As you know, fintech in Bahrain established a very strong base foundation. We have a very modern legal foundation to promote the investment in fintech. So we have legislations, we have policies, we have procedures established since 2018. So anybody come to Bahrain, their investment is protected by law. Not only legislations and legal foundation based, but also the legislation from judiciary system, from chambers of legal chambers that is very specialized and designed to deal with any fintech dispute. So therefore, we established a very big hub for Middle East, similar to what Luxembourg is doing here for Europe. This is what Bahrain is for the Middle East. We are the largest also an Islamic banking in Bahrain as of today. So therefore, you can see the fintech is planning to do this visit to Bahrain in October. By the visiting, they will be starting on October 10 to 12. They will do a fintech reception, and that fintech reception, there will be during this visit, there will be an opportunity that is to focus on innovation, regulations, and investment. So they will be talking about the three things, about innovations, regulations, and investment. This reception, I think, will gather all the community from Bahrain and could be from the Gulf and even beyond. There will be a platform for those who are coming from Belgium, from Brussels to Bahrain to meet and networking together. So they will be seeing this one. And as you know, the platform of the visit is not yet finalized and designed. It's based on the final information we received from Hub and from the team from Brussels here. We'll be finalizing this things. You can see here that is the three things in the reception, October 10 to 12. And this will be a unique, diverse network and of fintech, financial institutions, investors, academics, leaders, industry experts, all of them from worldwide will be invited, and they will be coming to that. Of course, the Central Bank of Bahrain will be there, but also the all banking investment and also the stakeholders and all party related, they will be all around and will be part of that event. The focus is about these three things: innovation, regulations, investment. You can see this three circles is the strong base for Bahrain investment. Why they select Bahrain, not other destination, is because the three things. That is, your innovation is in Bahrain, regulation is there, and the investment return on your investment is guaranteed. It's not only guaranteed, it is, there's a demand and there is a focus from all neighbor countries and the Middle East. That is, Bahrain is the platform and the hub for this business here. And of course, as you know, we are with us here today, somebody from EDB, Economic Development Board. He will be talking about the other part of investment. But since I'm just focusing on the fintech forward fintech event to come in October. Moving to see the details of opening remarks, that's October 11. This is only preliminary structure so far as the opening remark. The governor of the Central of Bahrain, Bahrain Economic Development Board, and of course, remarks by economist impact, panel discussion and the evolving role of the central bank. Of course, will crypto provide or prove to be transformative, and many other things to be shown there. It's also the networking break. There will be panel discussions, there will be interviews, there will be panel discussions on hardware transform finance, things relating even to the more technical and details of this fintech investment. And of course, the interactive sessions and interviews and the founders panels, they will create a full comprehensive round of activities that is showing platform networking, presentations, workshops, discussion, networking. It's also things relating to make interview with the media, and everybody is around this. So this will be a great platform even for you as investors from Belgium and beyond in Europe here to present your investment in Bahrain here. So this is another platform for you to present in Bahrain. The second day will be a continuous for the presentation. Fintech here, they will lead. Bahrain Fintech Bay, they will lead. They were here in Brussels a few months ago. We have done a workshop in our embassy, which was very successful. We thank Fintech Belgium to join and co-organize this with us, and also signing memorandum of understanding. We thank Hub here in Brussels and the teams who join us as well. So you will see this is the details. I'm not going to see this because this could be changed, could be revised, could be added, but also this is only a preliminary concept. I think that's the presentation I want to show about the visit. And I also would like to give the opportunity to my colleagues from EDB, because he is going to fill the other puzzles and other focus of investment in Bahrain, so they could see the fintech, but also the investment as at large space. Mr. Qaisar, if you allow me to invite Mr. Castella from EDB to introduce EDB and the opportunities for the investment and why is Bahrain. So I thank you very much for listening to me. I'll be ready later on to answer any questions and provide more clarification of the mission and the objective of this mission. I thank you very much, and I give the floor to Castella. Castella, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Bonjour à tous. C'est un plaisir d'être ici avec vous. I want to echo the ambassador in thanking the Arab-Belgian-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce for inviting us to participate in this webinar. And also to thank all your excellencies for your presence and time today. So I work for Bahrain Economic Development Board, which is the Kingdom's investment promotion agency. And our mission is to help potential investors to understand more about the country, to initiate their trip to coming and investing here, to handhold them in the process of doing so. And once you are established here in Bahrain, also to help you to grow. It is not only our function to bring you the first time, we really want to see our investors to grow in the country. I have a short presentation. I share a couple of slides with the ambassador, but I will try to explain a different angle of them. So I will, if you give me 1 second, I will share my presentation. Please let me know if you can see it. Is it visible for everyone? All right. So as the ambassador and it was referred before, mentioned before, Bahrain was the first country in the region to find oil and gas, and of course the first to benefit and develop based on the income, but also it was the first country in the region to realize the importance of diversifying away from this industry, and it started early on to develop industries like the aluminium industry with our national company Alba. And if you can see in your left-hand side of the screen, only 20 years ago, the contribution of oil and gas to the GDP of the country was 42%. And the GDP at that point was 10 billion. 20 years later, the picture is very different. Bahrain, the contribution of the oil and gas sector to the GDP in Bahrain, it's only 16.9%. No longer being the first economic contributor, it's now the second after the financial services. And having such a focus in this forum about financial services is worth saying that this is not coincidental. This is Bahrain has worked for a long time in developing its ecosystem when it comes to financial services. We have a very forward-looking regulator, our central bank. We have sandbox, we have accelerators. It's a very complete and complex ecosystem that favors the financial services investments in the country. But what this information is showing us is the ability of the government to execute long-term economic plans. The vision of the leadership of the country executed over the time. And this is always very significant and important for potential investors to see the ability of the country to actually execute the plans that they are putting forward. And on your right-hand side of the screen, you see the ratio between the FDI stock relative to our GDP. And you would see that in Bahrain, it's almost double than the world average and almost triple to the region average. And this is, again, evidence of how stable and attractive the country is to foreign investors. So with this slide, we want to show is the stability of the country, the strength of our plans looking forward, and also the proven interest by foreign investors into the economy of the country. And of course, we tried not to remain static as COVID was ending. The government pushed forward for a plan that was defined as the economic recovery plan that was looking to achieve full fiscal discipline by the year 2024, to further diversify the economy, not only in terms of sectors, but also in terms of geographies, and also further enhance our sustainable growth, which is very important nowadays for the kingdom and for the world. So this economic recovery plan established a few priority sectors, financial services being one of the most important ones, but also manufacturing, logistics, tourism, ICT, and we're not leaving oil and gas behind. It has the objective of increasing the amount of foreign direct investment entering to the country, and also enhancing the international trade ties. And we set up an objective of 2.5 billion of FDI coming between 2022 and 2023. And I can happily say that we are very comfortable to say at this stage that we're going to reach and probably exceed that amount. So once again, the plans are being executed in a successful way. The government has allocated and designed a number of strategic projects across the island and has allocated 30 billion for these projects to be executed. And just to mention that the land mass of the island is going to increase around 60% in the next 10 years. Very few countries in the world can actually do that, such a big growth of the land mass. And this is being done in the most sustainable possible way with the latest technologies and always with a great regard to the environment. And this plan is very focused on ESGs. As I said before, sustainability, it's quite important. We have His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister set up very ambitious objectives when it comes to reducing and cutting emissions, 30% by 2035, and achieve net zero economy by 2060. So this shows the ambition of the government to move even further in our diversification and in our development. As the ambassador mentioned before, the reasons to invest in Bahrain are basically fundamented in 3 pillars: profit, people, and partnerships. When it comes to profit, Bahrain is provenly less expensive than regional competitors. We do frequent biannual cost of doing business reports with external sources, and we are always in a range of 30 to 60% lower operational costs than our regional competitors. We have 0 corporate tax, 100% foreign ownership in most sectors. So it's really a very competitive country when it comes to cost. I think the second pillar is our most important pillar, which is the talent, the people. Bahrain, because was able to profit from the oil benefits from a long time ago, and also because it diversified its economy and its interest early on in the 20th century, has a very well-educated population, overwhelmingly bilingual or multilingual, and this provides a significant availability of talent, which is it's scarce in the current world. And not only you have the availability of the talent, you also have the assistance of government entities, sister entities of EDB, like Tamkeen, our labor fund, who helps companies that are established here to identify that talent and also to upskilling them in the way that the company needs. But as the ambassador mentioned before, one of the most amazing things about Bahrain is the ability to combine the local talent with foreign talent. We have among the lower quotas for localization in the region, pretty low compared to our competitors in the region. And the population, the foreign population of these, I've been in Bahrain 5 years, I'm Spanish, and my family is here, fully integrated in the culture of the country, with my daughters learning Arabic. It's really a welcome society, and the approach of the government, the approach of the entities is to promote the local talent, which is, as I said, available and highly skilled, but also to combine that with the foreign talent that is also available. And then partnerships. I think that because we are a small country, we like to think that the distance between an idea and the execution of that idea, or between a problem and the solution of that problem, is shorter here than in most places. We are a very streamlined country with the entities working together very closely, and the particular role of EDB, having His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister as our chairman, is to help investors to connect with key decision makers in order to make their investments to materialize and grow in the country. I won't stay too much here, but also, as the ambassador mentioned before, settling in Bahrain offers you access to a great deal of nations. It offers you a very good market. We have free trade agreements with over 22 countries, and the most important one is the US in terms of the size of the market. We also have trade agreements with the GCC and with the Greater MENA region, so that it's giving any company that is in Bahrain access to a very large market for manufacturers and logistics. It gives you, 35 minutes road distance to Saudi Arabia, which is the main market in the region, but also a fantastic connection between air and sea logistics. So access is also important. Contact people, the team Bahrain, and also the access to the market and to your clientele. Then I want just to end up my presentation with a few success stories. These are our best ambassadors, that they speak volumes about what Bahrain is being able to offer. We have companies like Mondelez in the manufacturing of food and beverage. Mondelez is the manufacturer of Oreo cookies, which you would all probably have had at some point. They have one of their 6 mega factories around the world, and they have the biggest one in Bahrain. They're currently exporting to over 40 countries from here. So if you go to Australia and you buy Oreo cookies, they will have been produced in Bahrain. And they're also heavily investing in solar energy to reduce their emissions. So it's fully aligned with the development and the mission of the country. Then we have AWS, Amazon Web Services. They came to Bahrain and they built the first hyperscale data center in the Middle East and Africa. It was a huge investment. And they were able to do this because the government worked hand in hand to open all of the doors. And one of the most important things to mention here is we work very closely with the regulator in Bahrain to allow AWS to retain the sovereignty of the data that is managed by them through the introduction of the data jurisdiction law. And this speaks about the level of assistance that we can provide investors with. And basically now the government is hosting almost all of its data in the cloud with AWS. Perhaps a relevant example for the audience is Citibank. Citibank is a bank that has had presence in the country for many years, but a couple of years back, they announced that they were putting in Bahrain one of their technology hubs. They're hiring around 1,000 people in the programmers, coders in the next 10 years. And this is based on the fact that Bahrain has a lot of talent. We were competing against countries all over the world, including Israel and the Philippines, and we were able to compete in terms of talent, in terms of diversity, and they're now operating at full speed, and we hopefully expect to see some other major banks to follow suit soon. And finally, DHL, they have been operating in Bahrain for a long time, since 1977, and they have continuously expanded their operation to serve these very fast-growing economies around us. And they're now serving over 200 markets from the Bahrain hub. So all of these are testimonies of the success of Bahrain in attracting key names. Once again, in terms of the assistance that EDB can help you with, we can provide information, we can handhold you through the process of investment. And once you're here, we can help you with your aftercare and your growth. Thank you very much for this, and at the end, we'll be more than happy to take any questions. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mr. Castella, for this presentation. Thank you again. I just noticed the priority sectors really. You speak about financial sector, manufacturing, logistics, tourism, ICT, oil and gas. I think all those sectors, what you just mentioned, are really matching with Belgium and Luxembourg partners what they can offer.
Certainly, I think there is a great match between what Belgium has to offer. Our international offices in France are covering geographically Belgium and Luxembourg, and we are really keen to explore any options and possibilities of investors from Belgium and Luxembourg. You can contact us and inquire about any aspect that you think might be interested. So fully aligned.
Thank you again. I just also noticed the free trade area with USA. It's very, very important. That means when you establish your business in Bahrain, you can reach the USA market free trade free. That's been very, very important route. Only some really little number of countries they have this free trade agreement. I think it's really a special treatment for Bahrain. It's very, very important to know also. Thank you again. Now we will move to our next speaker, our friend Ghislain Bredel, area manager of Hub Brussels. He will share you the what about the economic mission that will be organized in October to Bahrain. Please, Ghislain, the floor is yours.
Many thanks, Kaiser. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Al-Dosari, for this really interesting introduction about the business opportunities in Bahrain, and Mr. Castilla. And so, indeed, Hub Brussels, the Brussels Business Support Agency, will organize this year a trade and economic mission to the region. And so I'm really happy to give you more information regarding this trade mission. So we are organizing this trade mission. We will focus on the financial services, of course, and fintech and the tech in general. So it will be like a great opportunity for Belgian companies from all the 3 regions of Belgium. We are organizing in close collaboration with Flanders Investment and Trade, mostly for the other part of the mission, because we will start in Saudi Arabia. We'll depart from Brussels the 21st of October, and then we will start the program in Riyadh. And then the 24th, we will go to Manama, to Bahrain. And during 3 days, you will have the full support of our trade and economic representative in the region to help Belgian companies to meet with the business community and to have like a business program with the fintech and tech ecosystem in Bahrain. So this economic mission will be organized in close collaboration with the Belgian Finance Center and Fintech Belgium. So it will be really a great opportunity for Belgian companies to have during 3 days a full program focusing on their tailor-made B2B meetings, and also activities with, of course, EBD. So we will, of course, have a presentation with the Bahrain Investment and Development Board, but also with Bahrain FinTech Bay. And so it will be it's still possible to register for this economic mission. I will share in the chat of this Zoom meeting the link to register. The best is to register before the end of June. So I will share with you the link, and we are at your disposal. We are available to give you more information regarding the full program of this economic mission. And I will also give the floor now to my colleague, Laurence Eiblom. So she's our new trade representative in Kuwait. She is also in charge of the Bahraini market. and she is just back from a trip to Bahrain to prepare this economic mission. And so she already met some key players and important partner in the business community in Bahrain to prepare this economic mission, and she will give you more information regarding the meeting that she had just a few days ago. Laurence, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Guylain. Your Excellencies and dear participants, my name is indeed Laurence Heblom. I am the Economic and Commercial Advisor for Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and Dubai. As Guylain said, I went to Bahrain, and more specifically to the Arcapita building, where I had meetings with Bahrain FinTech Bay, EDB, Mumtalakat, and then later on with the Chamber of Commerce. Very interesting meetings. I think our FinTech mission is right in the center of what we just heard from His Excellency and Mr. Castilla. And so all of these institutions confirmed very kindly their interest and support to help make a success of this mission. So feel free, Guylain will put the link in the chat. Feel free to send me your requests or remarks or interest in special companies or meetings, and then we will locally try to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Guylain. Thank you, Laurence. I'm sure that Belgian companies will be in good hands and they will have exciting program in Bahrain. Thanks to effort and the support of His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, and thanks to the Chamber of Commerce in Bahrain, who are our partner there, and thanks to Bahrain Development Board also. I'm sure that you will be in good hands. Now, to realize what is the importance of what we just mentioned before. It's so important to have a question from success story, people who share his experience in Bahrain. We are very pleased and glad to welcome Mr. Philippe Thuys, who is the Executive Director of BBE, that's mean People's Bank Europe, who spent, I think, many years in Bahrain, 10 years as far as I know. So that, Mr. Thuys, I think that we will share your experience. I will try to make it as is dialogue. I will dialogue with Your Excellency if you don't mind. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thuys. And my first question, you heard the last presentation. Your life and worked for 10 years in Bahrain. Could you tell us more about your activities first and your experience in Bahrain, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, I just got back from Bahrain. I lived and worked more than 10 years in Bahrain. I worked for a local bank, a local international bank. That was the Arab-Belgian-Luxembourg Corp. And indeed, Bahrain used to be a very important financial center in the 80s, perhaps early 90s. And a lot of that business has moved to Dubai. But that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of international banks left in Bahrain. A lot of interesting international banks still operate in Bahrain. And I think where Bahrain is different from for instance, Dubai, is that they were the first to get on that fintech train. And indeed, I think they have a few homegrown fintech champions. I was fortunate enough to see the birth of the ILA Bank from the first, from close by. And I think ILA Bank is now, I think, seen across the world as an internet bank or a web-enabled bank or an app bank. And basically, I think it's a best-in-class example across the world of a successful fintech bank. And I think Ila Bank is not the only one, because indeed in the Bahrain Bay, there's lots of smaller companies. Some of them grow really big, that are leaders in their field. I think what helps, of course, is the environment. And I think it was already mentioned, there's a lot of support from various government bodies, but I think we should also and certainly mention the support or the role of the Central Bank of Bahrain. I think it's good to realize that this is not just the central bank. The Central Bank of Bahrain basically adheres to the highest international standards. So they don't invent rules of their own that suit their own local banks. So they implement or they adhere to European rules. They take their cue from the Central Bank of Europe, of European directives. And that's not only in the financial space, that's for also the data protection space. They adhere to highest international standards. At the same time, they're pragmatic. So that I think, and they're approachable. So I think that's a big plus for players who operate in the financial sector.
Thank you. What about the perception of business climate in Bahrain? What do you think about that? You just hear just before the presentation, but your experience in the business climate personally.
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, I can subscribe and just agree with most what has been said. I think reality on the ground, I think is indeed, I mean, as was explained. So Bahrain, I think, is a small place, but it's very, very well organized with easy access to government, a lot of government support to develop business. So I think there was Samkeen was mentioned, Mutakalat, I think. So there are, I mean, there are government bodies that are there to support the business. I think what is perhaps different in Bahrain from places like Dubai is that you will find, and I mean, and that's really the case, a lot of local talent. The whole Ila Bank is basically 90% built with local talent. And I think local talent, that's men, but that's also a lot of women. I think maybe people in Bahrain are less pampered than in other places there, but they work. And I think you'll find a dynamic workforce with a lot of homegrown talent. Homegrown, but also I think people have gone to the best universities of the world, lots study in the UK, quite a few also go to the US. But they come back to Bahrain because life in Bahrain is not too bad. I think that's, I can just agree to that. From a legal point of view, I think the infrastructure is there. I think it's fairly easy, I would say, to obtain labor permits. So that I think is a pretty smooth and transparent process. It was mentioned that Bahrain is cheaper than places like Dubai. That's the case. So that's not only perhaps salaries, but also when you go to the shop, it's definitely cheaper than in Dubai. Housing is definitely cheaper. So I think as a basis to set up a shop, I think Bahrain, I would not hesitate. I mean, quality of life for people, I think, is remarkable. Bahrain is like a village with world-class facilities. So that it is not like a mega city like Dubai with all the stress and traffic jams and whatever. I think it's manageable. I think it's a bit easy to live, easy to get around. But all the facilities are in place. I think what's also important is that when you fly out of Bahrain, I think you can get to all the places in the Middle East. It's a short flight. You can go up and down for the day. And the airport in Bahrain, I think the new airport, I think it's very nice. Big airport like Dubai, or perhaps the one in Abu Dhabi. I think it's just you drive up there, you go on the plane. I think without too much hassle. So as a place to do business, I think, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I really think that it's a place you should consider if you want to set up shop in the GCC.
Before the last question, if you don't based on your solid experience on the ground in Bahrain, what do you feel are the key success factors for those who wish to do business successfully in Bahrain? The success.
Well, I think it's not it's a straightforward question, but I think my answer would be that frankly, Bahrain would not be so much different from other places where you want to set up a shop. I think what you'll find is the right environment, and what you see is what you get. So obviously, I mean, success or not, that will depend upon your business and the way you run your business. But you'll find that the environment is conducive to do business. You'll find a lot of support if you're looking for support, all within reason. But what you see is what you get. I mean, there's nothing in the background. I mean, that well, some yeah, how would I call it? I mean, some things happening in the background that as a foreigner, I mean, you would not be directly aware of, or that would interfere with your business. I think it's straightforward, but I believe it's an excellent business environment. And if you want to go into Saudi, I think that's definitely the place to be.
Thank you very much, Reed, indeed, for sharing us your success story, And I can add it, if you need any help for your success in Bahrain, please feel free to contact the Embassy of Bahrain here in Brussels, to contact the Embassy of Belgium and the Economic Attaché there, to contact the Chamber of Commerce, and to contact EDB, and finally to contact our Chamber of Commerce. Will be more than happy. Myself and my colleague Sonia will be more than happy to help you, provide you any help for your success in Bahrain. Before ending that, we have the closing words from His Excellency Ambassador Mr. Mark Tissot, Ambassador of Belgium to Kuwait and Bahrain. I hope he is on the stage. If he is not on the stage, he sent us our presentation. Sonia can make the presentation on behalf of His Excellency. I don't know His Excellency is there or not. He's not there. I can give the floor to Sonia, if she don't mind, to make the presentation of on behalf of His Excellency, Mr. Mark Tissot, Ambassador of Belgium to Kuwait and Bahrain. Sonia, I give you the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Jazil. So, His Excellency really wanted to make it, but he had an important appointment this morning. So he told me to read his presentation on his behalf if he couldn't make it. So I have the honor to read it to you. So, Mr. Chairman, Excellency, dear friends, as Ambassador of Belgium to the Kingdom of Bahrain, I would say that there are plenty of opportunities in the coming years for strengthening our bilateral economic ties. 2023 and 2024 will also be the years when the current peaceful developments in the region will start to impact on the daily life and on the economics of the Gulf. Let us be aware of these developments, which could give a new impetus to a traditional waterway linking the Middle East with the whole world, but also to the new Silk Road, and by rail and road connections to the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. There, Bahrain, as a dynamic harbor and opened economy, welcoming foreign investments, could play its hand as a dynamic trading and industrial center. In such an environment, everybody agrees that our trade relation would improve considerably, especially since Belgian reputation for good quality is well established in Manama. On the other hand, it is important that our Bahraini partners better inform us on their development agenda and under expectations regarding the further integration of Great Arabian Peninsula, as well as for the reconstruction of Iraq, because these projects, or more accurately, these ranges of projects, could trigger a renewed economic dynamism in the region that not only would largely benefit Bahrain, but also his trade and economic partners. This without mentioning the energy transition, where Bahrain, more than other Gulf regions, could play the card of the renewables. I'm convinced that Belgian business could find its niche in this framework. Of course, we are mainly specialized in top-notch technology and don't provide low-cost goods or services, but our partners know that we are efficient, reliable, and flexible. Therefore, I consider that our industry can certainly insert itself in these vast projects. Last but not least, today, our embassy is supported in Manama by a very active honorary consul, Ms. Martin Kent, who is not only a well-established businesswoman with very good connections with Manama's authorities and business, but who is also ready to play the go between and help our Bahraini partners as well our companies to liaise and develop projects of common interest. I am sure that with the support of my successor, Ambassador Christian Dooms, Mrs. Kent will contribute in the most effective manner to these developments. This being said, let me add that in good cooperation with our honorary consul, Mrs. Heiblum, our regional trade attaché, while seated in Kuwait, will also assist you in your future contacts. Thank you.
Many thanks from the Chamber of Commerce to His Excellency. We are apologize he cannot be with us today, but sure he will be more than happy to maybe to share your visit to Bahrain. I don't know, before ending this presentation, this webinar, really, I would like to thank also, thanks our sponsor, our partners. I would like to thank, special thank to our business community in Belgium and Luxembourg for participation, for your large participation at this event that's been and showing your interest in Bahrain. We thank the speaker, sure. We thank the ambassador, sure. But without your presence with us, we cannot do anything. You know that. Thanks again, and I would like special thanks to my colleague Sonia for handling this seminar, this webinar. And I don't know, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, if you have some words to add it before closing this session. Please, Your Excellency.
Well, thank you very much. I must say this is one of the most successful webinars we have done here in Belgium, and I would like to thank you, Mr. Qaisar Ghazalzine, your office, Mrs. Sonia for her great arrangement. Thanks Belgium, Fintech, Belgium Hub, thanking His Excellency, the Ambassador of Belgium to Bahrain and Kuwait, Mr. Mark. It's also thanking the Economic Attaché for her presentation, joining us today from Kuwait. Thanks Mr. Castella, EDP, and all other colleagues. And I would like to thank Philip for his feedback about his experience in Bahrain. I thank you very much for your wonderful reflection and positive feedback. And I'd like to thank all participants who join us today here. I just want to say welcome to Bahrain. We look forward to see you registering as much as possible, and we will take care of all your needs, and we will make your success to Bahrain a very successful visit to find the right partner, the right engagement, and to make a mutual interest of both sides. To support the Belgian economic business community, but also on the other side, the Bahrain community. So thank you very much, Mr. Qaisar, for this arrangement. We look forward to welcome you and receive you in Bahrain very soon. Thank you very much all.
Thank you again, Your Excellency. I don't know if there is any question from the floor. No question from the floor. Thanks for all of you once more. Thanks for our partners, Gilan, Laurence, thank you again.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Stella, thank you very much indeed, and hope to see you in Bahrain, in Manama, in October. Bye bye. Have a nice day. شكرا جزيلا. نهاركم سعيد. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Merci
Goodbye.
beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Merci, au revoir.
Bye.
شكرا سعادة السفير. تحياتنا. نهارك سعيد. هلا.
We'll see you very soon. Thank you. All the best.
Au revoir.
All the best. All the best.
Bye-bye.